Who would think that a bet would bring together two people who are not ready to settle down? Well, in this case, a playful bet results in Damon finding the love of his life, a woman who has commitment issues, but is looking for the one she should be with forever. In the opening scene of Betting on the Bride, gifts are presented to Melanie as a congratulatory gift for her engagement to Robert, but one of the gifts puts them in an awkward position, as it reminds Melanie of her ex-boyfriend Darren. Putting that aside, Melanie's mother Anna makes a toast congratulating her and Robert on their engagement. They move on to play games, where Anna is asked to reveal a secret about her life, but instead gives some tips on marriage. She advises Melanie not to overthink things like women do. Sometimes you just have to go for it. Just take the plunge, head first, because that is what kept her and Melanie's dad together for 30 years. Finally, it is the wedding day. Melanie sits in the car plucking a flower, asking herself if she is sure she loves him or not. Her mother interrupts her thoughts when she enters the limousine. Melanie, in need of assurance, asks her mother how she would know that she wants to spend the rest of her life with the person, to which her mother replies that she would grow to love that person with time, so that she has no need to overthink it, it just happens. Julie, her sister, joins them in the car, and they leave together for the wedding. Arriving at the chapel, Melanie walks hand in hand with her father as he wishes her luck. She heads to the altar and smiles at her groom, as her father continues to talk to her. Thoughts are running through her mind on whether to go through the marriage or not. Her father lets go of her hand at the altar, and she looks at her future husband, but doesn't feel love for him. She turns around slowly and runs away, leaving behind her dumbfounded groom. Outside the chapel, she boards a taxi in her wedding gown, which takes her home. At home, Melanie is cutting some fruit furiously as Julie returns from the wedding and doesn't look pleased with Melanie. She rambles about them starting a delivery service for healthy and nutritional food. Julie removes the wedding veil from her head and asks if she is fine. Melanie replies that she is not sure because she messes things up, even at her own wedding. She admits that she truly likes Rob. He is sweet, and he is nice, but she did not love him enough to want to commit and spend the rest of her life with him. It appears that she has a big problem with commitment, as she has now broken 3 engagements, but Julie tries to make her feel better by saying it is better than 3 divorces, which does not help to lift Melanie's mood. She asks how Rob is, and Julie tells her that he got fired in the face, and is very devastated. She then goes on to say she is never going to date, engage, or almost marry anyone. But Julie encourages her, saying that she should not give up, and that she has not yet met the one, so she should give it time. It is the guys' game night, the boys are bowling, and one of them is ready to retire for the day after a score, because he has to help his wife out. Then one of the guys makes a joke about being committed, saying that commitment to just one person for the rest of your life is boring, and that he couldn't do it. His friends tell him that it is a good thing to have one partner for life. They even call it the beauty of life. However, he goes on to say that there are things he would love to avoid, which include crime, accidents, and marriages. His friends then make a bet, saying he could never get a woman to say I do, and that he should pick any woman of his choice, but he must make her marry him before the end of the month. Quite a funny yet risky bet, but he agrees to it because of the reward. In the next scene, Rob is seen carrying a bag of seeds on his shoulder as Melanie tries to grab his attention. She apologizes to Rob, saying she should have spoken with him when she started feeling unsure about the relationship. But Rob, on the other hand, feels frustrated while she continues to explain. Rob feels like there is still hope for them, so he asks her to keep the ring. Melanie refuses, but Rob keeps on insisting that they are meant for each other, and they are a good pair. The next scene shows the friends trying to advertise their juicy soda for expansion, which makes the board smile. Then the friends move outside of the room and discuss the current state of their bet. Damon says he hasn't found Miss Lucky to propose to, and then his friend asks him to propose to his secretary. He reveals that he is 10 years older than her last boyfriend, and it's just awkward dating someone at work. Will, seeming very obsessed with the bet, tries to make things harder for Damon, because he is the one who placed it. In the next scene, Melanie and Julie go for a drink opening, and she laments about how she rejected Rob, but he still wants to wait. He is not aware that she is not even planning on returning to a relationship, which she finds annoying, especially the fact that he feels he is the one for her. They finally enter the venue of the drink opening, where Julie reminds her of how she wanted to start a healthy food line, but Melanie just keeps stress talking. Julie is into the idea and feels like she could get sponsors, as well as someone to advertise the business. Julie steps away from her for a while. Just then, Will, Damon's friend, approaches her and asks if she is enjoying the punch. Since Melanie is not ready for another relationship, she pleads with Julie to save her from the conversation. Julie then goes on to tell the man that Melanie is currently going through a devastating, heartbreaking situation, which he understands and leaves. Julie tells Melanie that she should straight up reject any man, and that she does not need to give them any reason to continue to take her time, since she is not ready for another relationship at the moment. The sisters go to take pictures, seemingly enjoying themselves at the party. Will, who appears to have given up on Melanie, is scouting a girl Damon could date and lose the bet. He then points at Melanie, showing Damon that he had found his perfect girl. Meanwhile, Melanie throws the punch she was given into the flower pot. Damon, not finding any fault in her, walks up and advises her that the punch she has just posted in the flowers is not a good type of manure to grow the tree. But Melanie seems less interested in the conversation and walks away from him. Since the bet is on, he follows after her, still trying to woo her by asking what she does for a living. Melanie replies saying she is a body fitness instructor. Damon sees an opportunity and takes it. He goes on to say that he needs a fitness trainer and a nutritionist, but is not a fan of the gym, because a lot of people would be looking at his body. He adds that he wouldn't mind if she were his fitness instructor, but she flatly rejects him. Julie interrupts her and advises her not to reject him. Damon says that he would be happy if they could keep in touch, so they can exchange contact. Melanie, perplexed by Julie's change in attitude, asks her what happened to pure rejection, but she just smiles and leaves. The next day, Melanie and Julie teach yoga. After the class, Melanie discusses her sudden change from rejecting men to giving Damon her contact information. Julie explains that Damon's expertise in marketing is vital for promoting their healthy products business, and he isn't a fake advertiser, but a professional. This is why Julie did not oppose Damon talking to her. Melanie agrees, but not without the ring Rob gave her. She wears the ring from Rob to ward off potential suitors. In the next scene, Melanie arrives at Damon's house. She checks his diet, suggesting changes because it's unhealthy. While showing her engagement ring, Damon questions if she's married, and she replies that she's engaged, surprising him. As Melanie inspects his fridge, a spill occurs, and Damon helps clean her hand by offering her a hand soap. While washing her hands, the ring falls into the basin, prompting Damon to assist, assuring her that her fiancé will replace it. But she shocks him by admitting the truth. Surprised by her wearing the ring despite ending the relationship, Damon asks why. Melanie reveals it's a deterrent, signaling her disinterest in dating. He finds the ring and, embarrassed, she leaves after advising him on a diet plan. Back home, Melanie tells Julie about Damon's reaction to her avoidance of dating. Julie, more concerned about the business, asks if Melanie discussed it, which she could not because she was too embarrassed to talk because of the ring incident. Later, their mom inquires about an invitation regarding their parents' 30th anniversary. In the subsequent scene, Damon discovers Will's wrongdoing and considers backing out of the bet. Despite their refusal, he attends the next yoga class, feeling out of place. Afterward, he meets the sisters to discuss the grocery list. To help Damon understand, Melanie offers to go fruit shopping together and discuss business ideas. Rob unexpectedly arrives and introduces himself to Damon, whom Melanie intends to accompany for diet-related shopping. At the market, Melanie guides Damon on selecting broccoli, revealing her love for pizza. Damon, unfamiliar with cooking due to a busy childhood, finds it challenging. Curious about Rob, Damon asks about him. Melanie explains Rob is her ex-fiancé. Uncertain why she didn't marry him, Damon wonders if she's waiting for the one. He is unsure if that notion is reality or fantasy. While picking fruit, Melanie encounters her first fiancé, Justin. Awkward pleasantries are exchanged. Damon, curious, learns about Justin, and is further shocked to discover Melanie's engagement history. Declining a ride from Damon, she leaves him stunned, biting an apple. He meets up with the boys and shares his doubts about their potential relationship due to Melanie's 3 previous engagements, which creates a barrier against new relationships. This makes Will happy with the outcome. In the following scene, Melanie trains Damon in fitness and yoga. She is impressed by his good stamina, because even as she pushes him, he remains in check. While attempting a challenging pose, Damon surprises her by pushing her limits, resulting in her accidentally hurting her kneecap. Stuck at Damon's house due to the injury, they engage in a conversation about their backgrounds. Melanie mentions living with Julie and her parents, while Damon reveals his parents divorced 20 years ago, affecting his relationship with his dad. They discuss random topics like scouting, and agree to indulge in ice cream with pizza. The next day, Julie questions the oddity of Melanie being at a man's house for pizza and ice cream without a relationship plan at night, and even sleeping there with no call to return home. Melanie responds by linking Damon's hesitance towards marriage to his parents' divorce. Overhearing their conversation, their mom asks about the discussion on marriage issues, and Julie blurts out Damon's name. Melanie swiftly covers by calling him a client, but their mother, not willing to believe it, still asks questions about him. During another boys' gathering, Damon continues discussing Melanie, causing one of the friends to suggest Damon might be falling for her. He vehemently denies it. In another scene, Melanie teaches scouts how to make friendship bracelets. A girl named Avery is welcomed warmly when Damon volunteers as a scout trainee. During the training, they play and run around the lawn. Rob is in the area to repair a landscape, and he sees Melanie and the kids playing. He interrupts their activities to discuss their relationship. Damon then orchestrates a plan with the girl to divert Melanie's attention from Rob, allowing her to evade the situation. As the girls leave, Damon and Melanie wave them off after a day of trying to mend things. Melanie admits that her previous yes responses to proposals were compelled due to circumstances, including loud or desperate proposals in front of expectant people. Later, Julie is all dressed up fancy, so Melanie asks where she is heading. Julie tells her that she is in a relationship, and they will be going out, so she will not be around for taco night. At Damon's house, he uses Melanie's cooking guide as he attempts to prepare broccoli and meat. However, he is uncertain about the cooking process. His cooking attempt turns into a disaster, causing the fire alarm to go off. He almost burned the house down, and he has no choice but to call Melanie for help. She proposes a taco dinner with her parents, which Damon agrees to. At her parents' house, Melanie's mom teaches Damon how to make tacos, and he appears to be a fast learner. During the taco preparation, Melanie's mom talks about her to Damon, who seems impressed. Then her father brings up the issue of Melanie avoiding marriage. He teasingly calls her a kangaroo for always avoiding weddings at the altar. Damon believes that when she finds the right person, she'll settle down, eliciting an awkward smile from Melanie. She asks her mom about a picture in the dining room, and her mom explains it's for their 30th wedding anniversary, proudly calling her husband a lucky man. Damon compliments pictures of Mel as a kid and admires it, saying she is beautiful. Later they all play basketball, and Rob's arrival intensifies the competitive game between him and Damon. The game ends in a tie, but Rob isn't satisfied, leading to a bet. The bet is that if Damon can make a shot from a distance, he'll win an expensive ring, while Damon bets his watch, but unfortunately Rob wins the bet, taking Damon's watch and his ring back. During the drive back, Melanie apologizes to Damon for the watch he lost and Rob's behavior. Not to make her feel bad, he claims he has a struggle with walking away from a bet. Melanie then talks about how her mom sometimes pushes her when it comes to relationship issues, but he just wants it to feel right for her. Then Damon mentions that it seems she has not completely given up on a relationship. His hopes rise with this. The following day, Damon informs his friend that he can't continue the bet, as she has already been engaged 3 times in the past. If he pushes, that means he is giving Melanie hope for a serious relationship, which he isn't prepared for. This surprises his friend, but he insists the bets are off and the last thing he wants to do is ask her to marry him over a bet he never should have placed. At the scout meeting, the team dances, but Avery seems distant. Damon makes her teach him some dance moves, and when she showcases them, everyone admires her talent. As the kids are celebrating Avery, Damon tells Melanie that Avery is a talented child, but she kisses him, startling him. Immediately she runs out, because she is embarrassed. Returning home, Melanie walks into Darren outside her door. They chat, and he shares his plans to propose, hoping his girlfriend won't leave him at the altar. They laugh and she enters her house, where she finds Julie happy, because Damon agreed to support their brand on a TV show. Melanie confides in Julie, expressing her love for Damon, and her desire to spend her life with him. Julie suggests she propose to Damon, emphasizing that being the one to propose would show her seriousness about the relationship. Meanwhile, Damon plays basketball with Will. He reveals that he kissed Mel and enjoyed it, but doesn't understand their relationship. Rob interrupts them on the court, flaunting his watch to provoke Damon. Damon reveals to Will that Rob is one of Mel's ex-fiancés. At the last scout meeting, they award badges, and Damon receives a leadership badge. They make wishes, and Damon and Mel exchange smiles. After the scouts leave, Damon asks Mel to forget the kiss if it makes her uncomfortable, but she surprises him by proposing. Although she's seen many faces in relationships, she expresses her love, and tells him to say no if he doesn't want to marry her. They share a deep, intense kiss as he accepts her proposal. Mel informs her parents about her proposal, surprising them, especially her mom. Her mom questions if she's certain, to which she confirms, and asks her parents to plan a grand wedding. This is very unusual to Mel, especially for the fact she wanted a small wedding during those 3 weddings she evaded. The boys play basketball, where Damon declares his readiness to settle down with Mel because he loves her, and not because of the bet. His friend finds Damon's behavior unlike him and a bit cheesy, and reminds him what he is going to lose if he lets go of his bet. He reveals that his focus is on his feelings for Mel, rather than the lost bet. Rob, standing at the back of a wall, overhears their conversation, and is vexed at Melanie's sudden proposal to Damon. Rob confronts her on her way to Damon's place. He sees the gown she has arranged, and it's the same one she wore for her other engagement. He asks her if she is going to wear any of them to her wedding with Damon, but she reveals that she is giving them to charity. The answer pisses him off, and he then accuses Damon of betting on their relationship and playing her, causing Mel to leave angrily. Julie, angry at Rob's behavior, drives him out for barging into the house and spoiling the good mood. Melanie goes to Damon's office with a wedding veil on her head, which makes him feel she is eager to marry him soon. So he asks her if she wants a small or a big wedding, because his mother is already asking when the marriage will take place. Not wanting to discuss the wedding, she goes straight to the reason why she came. She confronts him, revealing her knowledge of the bet, which he tries to deny at first, but later confesses. Damon tries to explain that he called off the bet before her proposal, because he genuinely loves her, but she walks out angrily. Mel continues planning her parents' anniversary as she mourns the loss of the love she could have had. Her father finds her sulking and advises her not to give up, because if you love someone or something, you have to fight for it. Then he shares his love story about how he won her mother's heart amidst competition, especially the fact that his competitor was rich and a doctor. Returning Rob's ring, Mel admits she still likes Damon despite his actions, and is still going to love him even after what he did. She reveals it could never work out between her and Rob, and returns his ring, leaving Rob angry and hurt. On his way back from work, Damon encounters Mel's mother in the market, so he tries to help her hold the basket, but she rejects his help. He expresses his regret over the bet, and reaffirms his love for Mel. She advises that he shouldn't just give up and regret making the bet, because she is sure her daughter still loves him. Then she encourages Damon to attend the wedding anniversary, because it may be a way to apologize to her. While he is still unsure, she advises him to do the one thing that she doubts the most, which is to marry her. Melanie tells her sister that she finally returned Rob's ring, because she didn't love him, and felt the ring still tied them together in a way. Her sister believes it was the right thing to do. At the anniversary celebration, everyone seems to be happy, except Melanie, because of her broken heart. Her sister seems to have found a boyfriend and date for the anniversary. When she mentions being unsure about her new date, Melanie assures her that he must like her, to come to the vow renewal. Happily, Julie goes out. Then her mom comes in, looking beautiful in a white gown. Melanie compliments her and encourages her mother to enjoy the day, because she is meant to be happy. Later, at the venue, everyone is joyous as the couple says their vows again for the 30th time. Melanie gives her mom a bouquet, but instead of collecting it, her mom tells her to hold on to it. She turns back and sees Damon arrive in a tux. He tells Mel he doesn't regret the bet, as it led him to her. He knows that without the bet, maybe he would have never met her. She gave him hope for marriage. He confesses his love and proposes on the spot with a diamond ring, hoping she doesn't feel pressured, because the scout and everyone are watching. Overwhelmed with happiness, she says yes. Shockingly, he asks if they can marry right away, and she agrees. Her father once walks her down the aisle and wishes her luck again. Getting her hand on Damon's, they both exchange their vows as the pastor marries them. Avery brings out the ring, then he kisses her passionately. The marriage and anniversary end as they eat cakes, take pictures, and dance while celebrating their union.